Hello everyone and welcome to our weather update on Sunday, June 28th, 2026. So we're finally seeing a reprieve from the very hot weather across Ireland and the UK. Across many areas of Europe, though, it's still raging here. We have temperatures in the high 30s and reaching 40 Celsius in some parts, especially today in Central Europe. Now, in that breakdown of heat, we did see some intense storms across parts of Ireland and the UK. For Ireland, these are mainly restricted to the northwest of the country, very little elsewhere. And for the UK, many areas of northern England and Scotland saw some thunderstorms, as well as to Wales and southeast England. And in terms of temperatures, well, England saw 37.3 degrees as a new June high temperature record. That is exceptionally hot for June. Last record being 35 degrees in 1976, and for Ireland we saw 32 degrees recorded, and that does not beat the all-time record, which was also set in June of 33 degrees Celsius. So definitely quite a remarkable heat wave, exceptional in many standards, and also we had very high levels of humidity, which added to that oppressive feel. So, our bodies couldn't cool down properly in the heat, but thankfully that has for now swept away to our east, courtesy of this cold front. You can see this line of cloud here, just through there. It's quite weak, but it does make a big difference in how it feels. Now we have the main heat wave over Europe, and we're in the fresher conditions, but still, if you are watching from Europe, it is very, very hot for you, especially through the central part of Europe, and there will be some further big active, lively storms, currently some flashing away across some regions of France, down to Italy, up through towards Denmark, northern Germany, Poland, Sweden and Finland. So definitely a few storms around, and they'll get more numerous as the day goes on. So here is our precip and cloud forecast. So today we have a few showers in parts of Ireland and Scotland, not overly heavy, just a few passing showers. Elsewhere it'll be dry with a much fresher feel to things. Still a bit warm though in parts of eastern England, but compared to the 35, 36 degrees and so on that we saw over the last few days, it is markedly cooler, and the amber warning for heat ended this morning at 9 a.m. So we're all in the clear. So tonight we'll see further cloud filing in on that westerly breeze, mainly affecting western parts of the region. Further east, sky staying mostly clear. Tomorrow, Monday, it should be a decent day. So some sunshine around, but also some clouds. Just a fair summer's day. Clouds increasing from the west, and there could be a few showers breaking out towards evening over Ireland ahead of our next frontal zone pushing in overnight on Monday to Tuesday. Now this will move through Ireland through Monday evening, and then off into northern areas of the UK through the overnight period as well. This mainly affecting Ireland and Scotland, northern England as well. Elsewhere it stays largely dry, if rather cloudy, and some showers behind the area of rain might again turn a bit heavier, possibly a few areas of thunder mixed in with these as well. So as we go into Tuesday, again rainfall mainly affecting Scotland and Ireland, very little over Wales and England, and through Tuesday itself, these showers will push eastwards at times, again turning heavy, risk of hail and thunder in those downpours, but these will be of a different nature to those very intense heat-induced storms from the end of the week. So these will be your classic westerly showery regime, not the frequent light, not the storms that produced all that frequent lightning, larger hail, and even tornadoes were observed in Galway on Friday. So as we go through the evening, these showers do push through over all areas of England and Ireland, So what about downpour dodging then? Into Wednesday, start of July, things do calm down ahead of the next area of rain. Again, this area of rain mainly affecting more northern areas, so like Ireland and Scotland once again seeing most of the rain, but some also coming through over Wales and England. As we go into Thursday, a drier day, some sunshine, probably quite warm as well in the sun. And then towards Friday, some further clouds does spill in from the west, but you'll see now that towards the end of next week, trends are for high pressure to start building again from the south, possibly opening the door to our next hot spell. So here is the temperature forecast. So again, today is much cooler. Even in parts of England and Wales where it does show temperatures getting up into the mid 20 Celsius there, but still that is much cooler than the mid 30s that we saw towards the end of last week. So tonight, much fresher, much cooler, lows in the low teens. So everyone's going to get a good night's sleep tonight. Then tomorrow Monday, temperatures again into the high teens, low 20s, warmest in central and eastern England. Much fresher though than last week. Now into Tuesday, again temperatures much more comfortable for sleeping, and similar values on Tuesday afternoon. And that just repeats into Wednesday really, and Thursday. Although Thursday morning possibly a bit milder for England and Wales there. And then into Friday and Thursday, highest temperatures possibly creeping back up there into the high 20s in parts of southeast England. So is that a sign that temperatures are on the rise again into July? Well, let's check out the chart data then. So here's the GFS run. So again, we're back into that westerly regime now. Lows to the north, highs to the south and east. We're westerly, much cooler, much fresher. Tomorrow's quite decent ahead of this area of low pressure. That will move in, bringing rain and showers with it into Tuesday. Into Wednesday, briefly, we've got a transient ridge of high pressure, but again, this next low does move in, bringing rain and showers. Rainfall heaviest in the north of the country. And as we go through into the end of the week, well, you can see here the Azores High is trying to ridge up there from the southwest. So driest in the south, always a bit more blustery, always a bit wetter up in the north, and temperatures in the south should be quite warm, up into the mid 20s Celsius in parts of England there. As we go through into the end of the weekend, start of next week, the GFS keeps the high pressure just to our southwest. That allows a more westerly influence around the high pressure. Still warm in the south, but again, just staying that bit cloudier, cooler to our north. And through next week, we have the high pressure building in over the country. So by July 9th and 10th, we will see high pressure right over the country, temperatures easily into the mid 20 Celsius, pushing high 20s and 30 Celsius in some parts. So is that the next hot spell building? Could be. Here's the ECM. ECM, once again, into westerly winds today, tomorrow. This low comes through, bringing some rain showers into Tuesday. That clears through. Low comes through on Wednesday. Again, rainfall heaviest up in the north. Most areas in the south should stay quite dry. And then heading through into the end of the week, well, this shallow trough comes through. Any rainfall mainly in the north with that, and it's becoming drier and warmer in the south as this area of high pressure does intensify and start to inch northwards. So by Sunday next week, so in the south, easily getting into the high 20 Celsius, a bit cloudier and damper in the north, probably quite humid as well with that. And then getting into start of next week, well, the ECM starts the next warm spell. So with that, temperatures, I'd say, aloft, we're looking at widely above 15 degrees. So that's looking like, on the surface, many areas into the mid to high 20 Celsius there, and easily for Wales and England back into the low 30s, possibly creeping back into the mid 30s if that comes off. A lot of uncertainty, long way off, and yeah, we keep the high pressure going for quite a while there. Possibly a slight break there with a slight westerly influence, but high pressure from the Azores is ready to reach back in. So yeah, again, GFS and ECM producing warm spells, with the ECM's warm spell being longer and more intense than GFS's. Here is the UK Met run. UK Met once again. So again, westerly winds are back. Next low moves through, bringing rain and showers. Briefly dry on Wednesday, and then that next low comes through on Thursday. Actually quite gusty in the north of that low. And then, let's see what happens here. So the UK Met run next Sunday does something different. So it keeps the high to our west and starts to ridge it towards Iceland, Greenland. And what happens is we see an area of low pressure digging into Scandinavia. And from the north, we see the wind coming in. Now brings a much cooler end to the week and more showers. So yeah, it's very up in the air. It's not set in stone, but the GFS and ECM are going for the return of the heat or warmth. UK Met, well, up to next Sunday, not doing it, but quite easily after we clear away this low, this high pressure could topple in. Here's the ECM. Well, yeah, again, we're back into this westerly regime. Wettest in the north, driest in the south for the week to come. And as we go into the weekend, well, the Azores high ridges in. So by next Sunday, I think the GEM looks akin to the ECM. So we have high pressure right over the country, slightly less sunny in the north, Scotland, with a more southwesterly breeze that brings in, low cloud, mist and drizzle. But elsewhere it should be quite decently bright, sunny, and temperatures getting into the mid, if not high 20s again, in the more southern and eastern spots. And then into, next week, the high pressure stays really focused on the south, and that means that in the north you're maintaining that westerly influence, so staying quite misty and drizzly in the north, I'm afraid. And that's how we end up next Wednesday, July 8th, looking very warm in the south, but in the north it's so warm, but just, not that pleasant. You can see the plus 15 Celsius ice is up there through much of Ireland, Wales and England, so that does mean that would be a hot area of high pressure, with the heat building day by day. The sun is obviously very strong in early July, so day after day of the sun heating the air, the ground up, will compound. Also, we do have so high pressure means that the air is sinking, and that means that the air will get warmer just by being under high pressure. Combine that with the sun strength, and we'll see temperatures rising into the low 30s by next Wednesday, if this verifies, in the south anyway. So, the positive with that is that with that, as it is, the high pressure is over us into our south. So we're not seeing a southeasterly wind, which would really send those temperatures soaring. At least not up until next Wednesday. Here's the icon. So icon, again, with westerly winds through the week. Wettest in the north, driest in the south. We'll skip through that. And next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, high pressure is trying to come up from the south next Saturday. Although by that point we're still in a more west to northwesterly airflow. And next Sunday, high pressure is over us into our southwest, trying to take hold. It's under a bit of pressure from this very deep area of low pressure to far to our northwest, with the jet stream barreling into Iceland. So that might put some pressure on the high pressure system. That might put some pressure on the high pressure system. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean. And that will just make sure that might put it under stress, and it might collapse. But I think that should hold, especially if it gets and more southerly airflow ahead of it that can help to boost the ridge ahead of it. Those deep lows there. But overall, that looks quite optimistic if you want hot weather. And here's the arpege run. That kind of fell apart, didn't it? So here's the arpege. Well, arpege showing again westerly winds for the week, west in the north and driest in the south. Where we go beyond there, well, the high pressure is trying to ridge in there from the west, and if it does so, and stays around and fends off any areas of low pressure that tries to attack and apply pressure, well, you know, we're in for a warm spell. I don't think I explained this very well. Point is, this area of low pressure might put a bit of stress on it, and it'd be harder for the high to get established. But that might only be temporary and cause a delay in the onset of any hot spell. Right, hopefully that clears things up. Right, so moving on to the GFS ensembles for London. This is just to show you the uptick in the trend for temperatures over the next 2 weeks. So currently, temperatures are lost about average. We've come down from that big spike in temperatures from the week. Now, staying around average for the next week or so. That's as we see that more westerly regime, quite changeable, quite showery. But in London, actually, quite dry most of the time, since you're closer towards the area of high pressure. Now, as we go from about July 6th, you can see that the mean line, the white line, starts to rise above the red line, and that's the average line. So we're seeing towards the second week of July, we've got a warming trend in temperatures coming up, quite likely, based on this graph. Although some factors could mean that it takes a bit longer to get there. For example, that low pressure towards Greenland and Iceland, if it verifies, and so on. But that is a trend. You could be in for a hotter / warmer second part of July. Anyway, guys, hopefully that made sense. Enjoy the respite for now. Enjoy the respite. Enjoy the cooler, fresher air. And if you missed the heat, well, I hope you get your dream through into July. Thanks for watching. I'll see you. Bye for now.